know he can. But Loop is doing all the carrying. Like, Xiaohu's even sitting there being like, woo!
I love it. And the kind of the utility AD carries are starting to make a big name for themselves.
Yep.
Like TNT Pekko, he's having a blinder of a season. He's the exact same. He's not really throwing guns around everywhere. He's just kind of chipping away doing his job. When he gets ahead, he looks a little bit flashier, but so did Whoosh in that game, jumping in on people. Really is about these junglers and mid laners getting work done.
Well, see which junglers and mid laners we get. Of course, we are going to get another draft underway. We've swapped sides. HYG now on blue. Royal going to inhabit the red for this one. And Poppy banned away. I do like this. And Nidalee banned as well. I still don't know why people ban Poppy in Game 2. She has a very high Game 2 ban rate. But everyone's like, it'll be fine. We'll let her through. And it's never fine.
Well, what happens is everyone's like, Tahm Kench kind of beats her. Fiora can take it to her in laning phase. She doesn't have enough damage. And then Poppy has one team fight and destroys your backline. And you're like, I remember why I don't like playing against it. It's not because the lane matchup is good for Poppy. She just kind of absorbed farm and is a brick wall. How Maokai used to be. That's the exact reason why people used to ban Maokai, because if he ever gets on your back line, they can't move.
Yep, well, not a whole lot of moving from the back line that game. Smashed into walls by Looper and his Poppy, so it will be banned along with that Lulu and Nidalee, which was the last bans there for HYG. And we're done. Rise Corki Gangplank going to get banned out, which does leave Lissandra open this time, as Hyper Youth Gaming going to go instantly to that one for the hover.
And I wouldn't be surprised if this is what goes through. Although with Graves still available, I would shudder to think what is going to happen if MLXG gets his hands on that particular jungler again.
It's just so strange. It doesn't feel like there's that many Graves jungle players in the LPL. We've seen, we've seen a number of performances on the champion, but I feel like no one plays it just as well as MLXG. Dandy has had good games on it, but not even he can make the champion look nearly as good as MLXG has seemed to in the last few weeks.
Yeah, Kid had an impressive performance on it. I think he had one, but now he's gone back to the likes of Elise, and I agree with you. Like, it just seems to be like if you have a utility mid laner, and that's kind of how Xiaohu's playing at the moment, that you can get away with playing Graves. A lot of LPL teams still like to put damage in the mid lane, however, which means that you kind of need a utility jungler.
Well, makes sense there. As it was Lissandra, speaking of utility mid laners, picked up there from HYG, and instantly the Alistar will be considered. I'm just going to let Royal do this themselves. I'm pretty sure this is what they're going to pick.
Yeah, I'm actually really surprised they just didn't lock in. Because this is what they always take on this side of the map if they're left available.
Marta's like, stop thinking about it. Please, give me the Alistar. It is locked in.
I'm looking against EDG. They did the exact same thing. Against Vici, they did the same thing. OMG, the Graves was banned and they took Kindred instead.
Oh, rough times.
You know, it's a hard life sometimes.
For MLXG. He's still thinking about it. He's like, do I really... He's like, Coach, I really want to play Rengar. Clearly I've got to play it. Get me in there.
Give Xiaohu Orianna. I've seen it work out.
His
like,
coach is like, no, pick Graves.
Lock the damn Graves in.
And there it is. Graves locked in for Royal. Is Nunu going to be the instant hover there from March? Not too sure about that one. We'll see what Hyper Youth Gaming want to pick for picks 2 and 3.
Although I wouldn't be surprised next patch because Nunu snowballs on a 2.4 second cooldown.
Thank you. I do hope it ends up with a 2.4 second cooldown once the patch hits. That'll be a bad time.
I would be, you know, people complain about Rengar, but he just kills you. Nunu, like, follows you around, making your life miserable whilst giggling at you about it.
And then you die.
Yeah, then you die.
Well, I'll have to see, but probably not in this patch at least, as Hyper Youth Gaming do have just over 10 seconds to lock in these last few picks. I do like that swap there from March. Seems like Gosu does want to champion his comp field. I've seen him play probably best on AD carry mid lane as Ezreal and Corki, but Corki being banned here doesn't give them that option. They'll at least have potential here as Ezreal and Trundle are their picks 2 and 3.
Yeah, that kind of puts Trundle into the support position right now. Although, you know, they can go very swingy and put XQ onto the Ezreal if they really feel like it. He's had one game on the champion.
And Royal now going to see if they can round things out. There was a Quinn ban in the last game, so I'm not too surprised to see Royal consider it here as potentially Lupa's champion. And Whoosh probably going to play one of Tristana or Kalista, I'd have to think. Again, a lot of these more utility-style AD carries seeing a lot of play. And Lucian is up as well. That's probably the other notable thing. But I don't think that's going to be the pickup here. We'll have to see.
Yeah, you know, they're hovering, once again, this triple AD comp. And you now look at Hyper Youth Gaming and you think you have to fit Tahm Kench in there somewhere. Because that is a triple AD carry comp. And if RNG are able to get... Oh, they can't even fit Tahm in there, actually.
Yeah, I mean, they'd have
Unless
to go
they have
jungle.
A mid lane. No, so that might be a mid lane Quinn. and then a top lane Tahm Kench could be available. So you would think that Looper would like to take it.
Ah, for Royal, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that would make sense. Chaiho was talking when they were considering the pick, so it could be his pick as well. Would be a lot more carry style there for him, but certainly something he's capable of.
Because Triple AD with double peel support, and Tahm Kench, even though he's a
Basically
top
peel
laner,
support.
is a peel support, is probably the most frustrating competitive team to play against when it's executed correctly. And we've seen from the last game, if there's anything RNG can do right now, it's execute on a game plan. They would just be able to siege around turrets, fly around the map super quickly. Tahm Kench, Quinn both have they're not globals, but they may as well be. You know, Quinn has a jetpack, and Tahm Kench can just go around underground somehow. And
He swims. He's a giant fish.
if it was only usable, I have this argument all the time. If it was only usable in the lake, I would accept the swimming metaphor. When you pop up in the middle of the jungle, you did not swim there.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know. Yeah, look, we'll get to it later. As Varus and Rek'Sai are the last picks here. So it looks like Gosu is going to go back to more of these long-range style mid lanes, although one way he's going to get an AD carry with lots of long range, because that could be Varus for XQ as well. And we'll see if Royal can squeeze the Tahm Kench in there, or if they've got something else in mind. Oh, looks like something else in mind.
So now the team comp becomes 0 tanks
Effectively, yeah.
for the RNG lineup. They've only got the Alistair to start things off. Need to be very careful. Maybe we'll see MLXG pick up an earlier Steric, something like that, to get himself a little bit beefier on the front line. And honestly, this is, if Hyper Youth Gaming are able to lock down a key target and blow them up, could swing the team fight in their favor.
It does feel like the same can be said on either side here. As Looper, he's going to get his Queen. That does mean, is LeBlanc the last pick there for Xiao, who'll take the champion for a second spin here in game number 2. And it does seem like Gosu is going to take the Varus, sort of what we expected there. These are interesting team comps. No one has really many tanks. Hyper Youth Gaming kind of have 2. Royal kind of have 1.
And I love the kinda.
Yeah.
Really, it's 1.5 versus half.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
it's going to be whether the poke comes out of the Varus and is able to start up the team fights, or whether Xiao just blows Gosu up. You saw Gosu, he wanted the exhaust, and then as soon as he saw the LeBlanc, he was like, please give me a barrier.
Back to barrier. Because we are going to run quickly through the lineups. Lissandra, Rek'Sai, Varus, Ezreal, and Trundle on one side for HYG, and Quinn, Graves, LeBlanc, Tristana, and Alistar for Royal Never Give Up. Again, interesting comps for both these sides. Execution's going to be important, as always.
And as soon as that Varus was locked in, Lupa's eyes would have lit up. He would have been like, all of a sudden, there are 2 people on the other team that I am just going to bird, and they're not going to enjoy it very much.
Athena has some bad memories, I think, of Lupa's Quinn playing that exact champion on Varus.
It's just going to be a difficult game right now for Hyper Youth Gaming, you feel, after that draft. RNG is still going to have to execute on it right now, and I'm excited to see whether Hyper Youth Gaming can throw a spanner in the works.
Yeah, I wonder if the laning will make a significant difference, because if not, it's going to be a pretty explosive mid-game, possibly quite literally. As we do see the comps. Once again, we are going to get ourselves into game number 2. And here we are onto the riff for our second game between HYG and Royal. Royal find themselves up 1-0 once again in a best of 3. Looking to continue a still undefeated streak in matches if they can close out this best of 3. HYG, of course, could force it to a third, but this game should be fun with some pretty different drafts here for both teams.
Yeah, and you know, when you look down HYG's lineup, they kind of have that PL feeling for what will be a pokey Varus and then a blue Ezreal. So you get what they're going for, as we have a level 1 tussle.
A scuffle here. As Trundle level 1, very powerful. Marta going in, 3-man pulverized. Whoosh comes in with a rocket jump as well. Exhausted down, and there's first blood. Maybe make it 2 as Gosu has to run himself away. One more auto flash in, but a good heal there from Gosu keeps him alive. Now Whoosh is in trouble as Lissandra's come down. Damages there as Trundle going to collect that next kill. MLXG
comes
trying
on
to
the
do what he
back.
can, but the damage still there. Another pulverized up as March is going to go down as Looper swoops in to collect that one. And a bloodthirsty level 1. 2 kills for Royal, 1 kill for HYG.
Yeah, 2 for 1, and Whoosh actually misplayed that as soon as the Varus flash. He should have flashed as well, because he would have been able to get the slowdown off the rocket jump. Of course, it happens on impact. You can flash the mark on it. So Little bit of a back and forward there, but it is a support picking up a kill for HYG versus the AD carry and a top laner. So that very in favor of RNG.
Loopy can see going to pick this up, but let's watch this again.
Yeah, so Marta checks a brush, and they're like, we can turn this around. But everyone kind of, you know, with the heal start on Alistar, I understand how you confuse it, but that's a lot of CC, especially when you have the Triss jumping on you, and that's what I'm talking about. If Whoosh had a flashed as soon as Gosu flashed, he would have been able to actually get the slow, and he probably wouldn't have died on the back end here. Looper was later than S17, but able to, with some very good target prioritization, pick up a kill here on March, and then turn around and harass Alessandra out of the team fight. Really no follow-up damage. That means we will have a lane swap, but both teams will do it. In
and amongst all the replay, after the very chaotic level 1, we have actually swapped things up, but we'll get standard lanes here, which I'm sure both teams are relatively fine with. Xiao getting aggressive. MLXG's here at level 2. Gosu with no summoners, remember. Going to get snared up. The Ignite's down and end of the line. Takes him out.
Yeah, and as soon as you see no summoner spells on a Varus in the mid lane, your eyes light up. The distortion and chain taken out of Xiao, who probably wasn't expecting the attention till level 3. That means that RNG picked himself up another kill and a 900 gold lead.
Really good gank there for MLX2, starting to put some of that trademark aggression to use once again, as Royal are already up 1,000 gold and 3 kills to 1. As there's been a whole lot of bloodthirst. You can see that early gold. Big pockets there for Wushu. Hasn't got that shop in just yet, but good gold for him, especially whenever he goes back.
Yeah, and that's just going to accelerate this aggression out of the Graves even further. We've already seen what happens when a Quinn and a Graves get ahead, as Lupa trades very nicely with S17.
Yeah, have to be careful, of course. Quinn pretty short range, and Lysandra able to CC you nicely, but he's getting some damage down on Quinn. S17 has a biscuit though, so he's going to be okay. And now Gosu's like, I don't want anything to do with this lane at all. I'm going to freeze it as far back as I can towards my turret, but that's going to lose your jungler a blue buff by the looks of things. As March maybe just loses his life. Chain does land in there. MLXG's over the top, but not enough to follow in. They'll just force him straight out of there.
Yeah, and you know, MLXG valued his flash more than a kill there, I have to say, because he probably could have picked that one up if he had it flashed over the wall. Instead, just goes and gets a blue buff now for Xiao, who you would expect. That's a LeBlanc that already has 3 assists behind her.
And now bottom lane, S17 in trouble as Lupa's going to chase it down. He's going to force away. Lupa can't quite get in range. Does have his flash, but didn't quite have her in kill ranges. Now March is down here. Lupa might have to use it defensively. Will pop it in, but the flash on Burrow is going to come out. Minions here actually might be enough damage. Blind is through. Lupa, massive outplay, takes out March.
The blind was massive and has enough cooldown on that E to be able to make the play. All of a sudden, the wave is frozen in front of the turret, so S17 has to stay.
And we're not done. XQ now in top lane, getting charged up there by Whoosh. Whoosh going to go straight in for it. Hyper aggressive, but it cost him his life. That was a bit too much that time.
See, you call it hyper aggressive.
Oh, Marta, he's dead as well by the looks of things. Slow down there from the Trundle. Flash in for the Ezreal. Double kill for XQ.
Yeah, as I said, you call it aggressive. I call that stupid.
Stupidly aggressive, maybe.
Yeah, that was just not a smart jump. Thought he could have him, but wanted to catch. Let's see it again in the bottom lane. So Lupa able to get the flash. And March is fighting in the middle of a creep wave here. The blind goes down, as well as a really nice backflip. The acrobatics out of Quinn. I want to know how she does that.
Well, looking good there. With a bit of help from the jetpack, I'd imagine, Spawn. As March going to move his way towards his towers. Is getting forced out a bit by MLXG, who at this point has to be playing with pretty much no fear. Goes through the level 5. Nice poke actually out onto Xiao, who is yet to go back despite having 3 assists. So needs to go back and spend some of that money. Gosu wasn't either, but Corrupting Potions kept him up here as Whoosh is now back in that top lane. Actually went for a pickaxe and a dagger. I believe he had money for a BF sword, but wanted a bit more attack speed instead. And now XQ with those kills going to go back and spend his own money.
Yeah, and this is, like, you look at the gold and it's back to actually Hyper Youth Gaming's favor. What could have been if they just had, I guess, kept some composure in the top lane. They gave away a lot in that exchange. Sheen tier picked up for the blue Ezreal, and if you can go back on a tier unharassed at about this time, you're very happy. Having the double kill means that the Sheen is also there, and that should be an outright winning lane now.
Yeah, I mean, at blue Ezreal very safe, but should be able to get some good poke down now as well. In fact, they've even moved them around. Looks like everyone's going to return back to the bottom lane. So we have both duos returning there. That is going to give S17 a bit more time in top lane because he got there first, but Lupa is level 6. He's just going to zoom his way up to the lane and be just fine there. Actually got serrated Dirk as his first item. So looks like Ghost played first. Been pretty standard on the Quins we've been seeing, both mid and top lane.
Yeah, it certainly has been. You know, only one magic damage threat, so I'd be surprised if he did go towards a Maw. Of course, the armor penetration on Maw makes it nice against 80 carries as well at the moment. It's just kind of a good all-around pickup, to be honest. So we'll see whether the 2 kills on Looper has more of an impact on what the 2 kills on XQ will have, just because we expect the Quinn to get going that little bit earlier.
Well, see, Tristana at least trying to keep the minions pushed in. Ezreal maybe doesn't want to get too far forward here. Just going to last hit under the turret instead, which is going to give RNG some room in this lane. That's kind of the thing about Ezreal. You do have to land those Qs in order to win the lane, so it can be tricky if you're just getting shoved in constantly. Is MLXG actually in towards the top lane, but so is Rek'Sai.
Yeah, so everyone going to converge up here. They're also pinging out the LeBlanc, so they will disengage, it looks like, right now.
MLXG actually going to spot a ward here. Ramp Sense will help out there. Collapses that.
Oh, double tunnel. That was value.
Gets a bit of money for it, and is going to back away from it. So good run there from Xiaohu Whoosh. Now low in that bottom lane. Just like you predicted, Spawn. XQ starting to win this lane pretty handily with this item buff.
Yeah, and that was actually the heal burn as the True Shot Barrage just cleans out the minion wave. So that's going to be pushing in very hard to the RNG turret now.
And you can see Xiaohu now applying that pressure once again into Ghost, who is trying to stay safe back towards his turret and last hit where he can. Does have his summoners back up and has that tier charging with 2 longswords, so pretty good at last hitting at this point. Decent trade damage, but probably nothing on the LeBlanc that just can zoom in there. Almost unopposed. It's going to have to be a pretty good ulti from Gosu to stop that from happening, and that only works once, so a little bit of charge time here for HYG's comp. They've got double tier between Ezreal and Varus.
Yeah, and there's also the arm time on the Varus ultimate, so you know Xiaohu should be able to get to some relative safety. Oh, that's never going to get old.
Third form.
Just watching someone zone as a bird in lane.
Yeah, I mean, the active parts are pretty powerful. The old Sky Strike.
Not to mention the fact that it gives you so much movement speed, so your zoning is actually from a much bigger radius than you would expect.
Well, not doing too badly on farm right now is S17, just making sure it doesn't die. So the pretty bloodthirsty Looper. March now on the bottom side, actually. Looking for a kill here, but Whoosh, Summoner up here in the flash. Going to be a tricky one to try and pin down, and he might just recall away from it.
Yeah, we'll see whether a pillar comes out from Shu here. There it is. They want to go.
And now they know. But
oh, they got him!
Flash. Umbaro's there. That's going to force the flash after the rocket jump. Nice headbutt, actually. As March takes a huge host of damage. Exhaust, though, should keep him safe for now. XQ going to turn on that True Shot Barrage. Doesn't quite do the damage he wants with all the minions in the way. And top lane, Looper just gets ulted because S17 was going to die.
That is hilarious. S17 ults and gets the heck out of dodge. This is just, you know, top lane winning versus bottom lane winning right now. You saw that they were able to get another summoner spell out of Whoosh this time around. Had to burn both ultimates for it, but still looking relatively calm underneath this turret. From 2-1-1, Blue Ezreal cannot stress it enough. Double tier builds. There should be a lull in the game where your Ezreal isn't that strong. Giving him 2 kills just completely bypasses that.
Yep, big acceleration there for the bottom lane of Hyper Youth Gaming. As MLXG still counter jungling, has Quinn on the top side for any support and going to donate yet another blue to Xiaohu. This means March, so is going to focus that bottom lane instead and force Whoosh and Mata off that turret. Seems like Royal are going to lose one here. Not their lives, but is going to be this structure. So the first turret of this game will once again go over to HYG.
Yeah, it looks like it might, although on the top side of the map you see that Lysandra can't get anywhere near her turret either. And the Quinn going to be able to put some bullets into this one. Actually decides to back away.
Just denying it off here, but S17 will go in and collect that wave.
S17 had to pink the brush in his lane because of how aggressive Looper was playing. Of course, wouldn't have had that teleport timer because it was used earlier in the game to get back to lane. And that is just, that's fear. The man is afraid.
Yeah, and it's rough here. I mean, S17's keeping up in CS for now, but with the way he's playing, you have to think Looper might be able to force him out of that lane. As HYG, consolidating their strength in the bottom, are going to take away this dragon. March smites it away. So they do have a lead now opening up. It's pretty slim on gold. But that 1 tower and 1 dragon is a good step in the right direction as far as early game objectives goes. And Ezreal's powered up now. Iceborne Gauntlet already done at 11 minutes in.
Yeah, he's at 100 CS as well at this stage of the game. And you can really see where the teams are strong because bottom half of the map, warded up like all heck for Hyper Youth Gaming. Top half of the map, the exact same thing right now for RNG, and they are trying to play towards those strengths. Just seems that this blue Ezreal coming online might be a little bit more of a window than what Quinn currently is.
Well, we do know Triss needs to farm up a bit more, so Whoosh isn't going to be happy to be playing a bit from behind here in this game. Gosu also staying very safe back, but managed to keep that CS even. He just doesn't want to die. He's keeping that long range there. Xiaohu's popping forward, trying to get aggressive, but Gosu knows all he has to do is stay safe. Even has the Hex Drinker as well. Great landing choice there against that LeBlanc.
Yeah, certainly there's not really many kills going to go down in this mid lane with the range of the Varus. Xiaohu might even be better pushing up and trying to get into that top lane, as we see Mata caught off.
Yep, actually a little bit out of position, surrounded by 4 members of HYG. Does pop his ulti, goes in for Gosu, gets the pulverized lance, a headbutt, Looper all the way down there, just going to miss the blinding assault as they are going to descend back onto the Asa. Ulti does tag Looper on the NS. 17 is going to get the first lockdown there, and they need to try and find a kill. Shu now roaming in, does get the flash chomp there for the slow, but damage going to force him back from everyone else here. RNG, plenty of damage as MLXG steps out from the jungle, and they certainly do. Going to move their way back in, but HYG will disengage.
Yeah, and HYG are actually ahead in this game at this stage of the... And you can see the poke out of the Ezreal and Varus. All of a sudden, you're caught in the mid lane against what is a siege comp, and that's not where you want to be. MLXG gets chunked out. That'll be mid lane turret most likely.
Looks like they're going to try and take it here. Ezreal pretty good at this sort of thing. We'll have to wait for a minion wave, but ulti not quite up there for Ezreal, but plenty of wave clear left here with the Iceborne Golem and the Varus, who's low on mana, but should be able to use the last of it to poke the Raptors. You want to go for the wave clear, but they should be able to group up here and take this Xiaohu 1v4. Not much he can do here.
And we said not really the disengage options as they're going in.
They're going to fight for it. Teleport in from Looper as well. Mata tags up one. MLXG goes in, but gets exhausted as S17 still getting locked down. The heal might keep him alive. Great ulti there to prevent the Harrier stack from proccing. Xiaohu dives back in forward, and Looper will collect that kill. And now March may be low, True Shot barrage up, but Xiaohu pops out of the way. MLXG low as Looper, going to get himself knocked up. Gets a double actually onto Varus, but will get taken down. And RNG have committed so much to this mid lane.
Yeah, they certainly have, but in the end, they still lose the turret. They lose Looper's life, which is a shutdown, and the gold advantage actually grew for Hyper Youth Gaming off the back end of that team fight.
And that's so many resources burned for RNG, but little to no gain there, despite Looper's 4-1-0 score. We've seen them be pretty aggressive with their team fights and execute well, but that was a moment where maybe they should have chosen to just let the tower go.
Yeah, and you know, without the ultimate on Mata, that's what it really was. Just wasn't able to get into the position in that team fight that he wanted. And in the end, that meant that Hyper Youth Gaming were able to take it. You see Mata takes a lot of damage up front and can't really commit to the fight, whilst Looper is trying to frontline here. Xiaohu, fantastic play, gets in there, gets out with his life. But you know, if this was a normal team fight, you expect Mata to be up the front, not walking back. And Looper, unfortunately, goes super aggressive with his flash, gets blown up after he takes someone out. And that's not really the execution we're used to seeing out of this team.
No, great exhaust as well by Shu onto MLXG, who is flanking with the ulti. As speaking of, 17 getting pretty heavily towed up. You can see a bird and a cow and a yordle all trying to kill you. Not very pleasant experiences. No summoners here, but an ulti up for a 17. He's just going to buy some time. He has been tagged by Whoosh. Looper going to move in for it. Who are they going to give the kill to?
This is what we talk about killing Lissandra.
Yep.
It takes forever. In the meantime, you lose a mid lane turret. You commit so much into that bottom side of the map. And if they stay down there for the turret now, Hyper Youth Gaming just keep going. Better yet, they rotate onto the top side of the map. Another overall net loss for RNG.
Yeah, Whoosh is going to stay, but RNG have to send everyone else to probably just defend the tier 2 in top lane at this point. Outer seems like it's going to fall here with HYG cutting off that minion wave and XQ already getting to work on it. March is going to come in and step in for the attack speed buff. And they are going to be able to take this down. I don't think they'll push in for the tier 2, so some defense being mounted by RNG, but they're already 3,000 gold behind after surprising misplays. We expected the aggression, but it's just not the same calculations we've been used to seeing from them.
When you're up 4-1 in a game, to have this kind of swing is just so unexpected. Generally, when you go up 4-1 in a game, what happened to LGD yesterday happens, and that is no matter how well your mid laner plays, you end up losing the game. Right now, however, Hyper Youth Gaming able to peg it back. In fact, this bottom lane turret probably won't even fall as they bring some more members down. And that's going to be a 2-turret trade for only a kill.
And we talked about the squishy nature of the RNG lineup. Not good to be falling behind here in this game. He felt like part of their comp Did need to snowball a bit, but HYG have plenty of room now in this game, and that tower will be defended by S17 as he does just come in and do what Lissandra does best, and that's wave clear.
Yeah, so just able to hold the wave off the turret, keep that one nice and safe. And a lot of pressure now goes down onto Xiaohu because he's probably the person that can make these team fights uneven. If he can pick someone off at the start of the fight, then Lupa can swoop in for the assassination potential. But they need it to be an uneven fight beforehand.
Certainly do, as HYG sticking together for now. Don't want to get picked off by the Quinn. RNG are going to work on this top turret. They will actually get it, so that's going to answer back some gold for them and actually claim their first turret of the game. Lupa forced to pop the Ghostblade. Pillar, I think, just tagged him with the slow. Now March going to look in for the Unburrow. Great vault away there from Lupa, but the flash is going to secure it. XQ, third kill of the game.
Yeah, and Lupa tried his hardest to get out of that, but when there is a flash available, you just can't outplay the immediate knock-up. But once again, this is one of those times where it looks like double turrets will go down for a kill. So Hyper Gaming kind of getting the same bloodthirsty disease that RNG caught earlier, and they give up a pretty big advantage.
It is contagious, in fact, as HYG will at least move back in to get this dragon. That'll be their second of this game. But towers falling does give RNG actually an almost equalized back in that gold lead, and even get the Rift Herald out of it as well. As once again, a late Herald pickup here for RNG. This time it's Xiaohu that's going to collect it. And just go back. Again, don't think we'll be getting the push out of it, but a bit of extra gold in the pockets, not too bad at all. Awkward. MLXG throws a shell straight into the rock. They're going to finish her up to camp off just fine.
Doesn't really even impact his clear speed, it's just funny.
It did look funny.
Yeah.
You see Graves use end of the line on terrain, you think they're being super creative. MLXG unfortunately just missing that one.
So in the end, it will be a 2-dragon advantage really right now that Hyper Gaming can boast. As this bottom lane turret falls, it will be the gold equalized. That's kind of not a good news story. Xiaohu finds out.
Down to 17. Damage is massive. Huge tether there from the chain, and Xiaohu moves in for the kill. No ulti there for a 17. Xiaohu, very nice.
Yeah, he just didn't even use it. I think he resigned himself to the fact that he was dead. Wanted it for a teleport play maybe, and RNG actually put themselves back in the lead. Xiaohu not going for the Luden's Echo this time around, actually going for a Zhonya's Hourglass.
Yeah, makes sense. There's a few more carries on either side in this particular game, so needs a bit more playmaking and protection.
I think Lupa just killed himself. No, he's able to live. So he recalled in the middle of the lane, and March was walking in. If he had been any more aggressive then, probably would have been able to successfully put down another gank.
Lupa does have to be careful. You can see a couple of wards, kind of a nice ward line actually along from mid lane to bottom lane there for HYG. Lupa on the split push duty right now, which you do expect from the Quinn, is going to be a little tricky to pull off, given there's a nice surveillance system set up to see him. But
and it actually looks like Lupa going towards the Sterix this time around. Although, you know, Pickaxe isn't in that build path, Lupa, and it better not be a Titanic Hydra because you can't use it.
Certainly can't use the other one either, so Hydra no good in this situation. We'll see what Lupa wants to do. Could just be a Last Whisper component. Could just be he needed some AD. Could be he's crazy, but we'll see in a few minutes, I suppose. As he is still on the warpath there in bottom lane. HYG, though, trying to stick at least together in clusters. Didn't help S17 1v1 versus the Xiaohu, though. But you can see at least 4-1 being set up now. Now Lissandra going to go back and answer the Lupa problem. Probably the best target to do so.
Yeah, it certainly is. You know, with the stasis, can't really be turret dove. Lupa still very squishy on the Quinn. So maybe a collapse starting to come out of...
Ooh, Xiaohu, nice combo.
They want this. Marta going for the flank as well. You can see MLXG and Lupa coming in.
Oh, misses the combo. No, does flash in for the pulverize and finds Marta, but Marta now pops the ulti in the middle of it. Exhaust down onto XQ as that 17 is now in the area. Marta looks dead, but Lupa swoops in for the flank and is forced to flash out. Doesn't quite get that assassination down. And now Xiaohu may be caught out of position. Pillar does go down to cut off the path, but Xiaohu does not distort over the wall. A little sloppy once again. Marta the only casualty, but Royal, these plays just aren't working out for them.
Yeah, just wasn't able to get the combo that you felt they needed, and that's with a chunk out of XQ before that team fight goes down. See, Xiaohu still wants to look for an assassination on this backline. In fact, everyone does. No one looking to defend the turret. They all just want to fight again.
Yeah, again, all defensive summon is now down, so it's not a bad time to go for it. MLXG gonna rush in for it, but he might be pinned down here. Mata again with a big pulverize, and there's the first kill out onto Lysandra. Tower will fall, but the damage is massive here as Whoosh is gonna go leaping through the team. Xiao, who gets low, he will fall for it, but that's gonna be an ace.
And second time at Charm Pastry time, they're able to execute this time around because the headbutt pole hit 3 people, set Xiao up for a massive human cannonball. 21 minutes in, eyes turn to Baron one more time.
Yep, very quick Barons all around here. RNG taking decisive fights, and now going to move it into the Baron. 4 carries effectively, going to make this pretty much mincemeat. And RNG, we talked about execution being important in this comp. They did lose quite a bit in the mid lane for it, but they'll get a lot back here with this Baron take.
And one more time, the Baron is very important because it puts them up in gold, but also look at the standing structural gold still available, as that Ezreal ultimate doesn't really get much done. And this is all about Mata. You know, this time he hits a 3-man. Xiao, who flies in there. The rest of the team's able to follow up. Whoosh is very excited with these jumps at the moment. He's just jumping all over people. And honestly, this whole team comp just relies on, can Mata get 2 or more carries in his headbutt pole combo?
And if I was going to trust anyone, it would probably be Mata and his Alistar, but that is an awful lot of pressure on the former world champion's shoulders as RNG do take a tower there in the mid lane as they'll knock down an outer and grow that gold lead ever so slightly. We'll see if they can do what they did in the last game. We complimented them a lot.
S17, you're in trouble.
On their Baron play as S17 is going to get vaulted up. Might be okay. Xiao, we're going to keep chasing. Chain will land. Stasis is there. Tether will not hit. But this should be a pretty easy pickup. And it is Looper that gets it.
Yeah, so in the end, able to chunk him out, bring him down. It will...
Ooh, just misses there on the True Shot barrage.
I was going to say it will be with the casualty maybe of Xiao, who on the exit, but they're able to successfully disengage. Send him back to base with that empowered recall. Should be able to join them back on the field in no time.
And MLXG getting tagged by Ezreal, who does have actually some good items built up. He's almost there to Blade of the Ruined King, with Muramana now transformed as well. But again, we talked about RNG's 3-lane play to take a lot of tier 2s and the inhibitors last time. Gonna have to stay a bit more group for this time, and HYG able to defend these towers pretty nicely. In fact, it's still only the one that they've gotten on this Baron.
Yeah, it certainly is, and there's not really much looking else looking to go down.
Nice tunnel.
How did March get through that tunnel?
Tunnel, I believe, continues. Once you go it, you're going in. I don't know. I think Pulverize wasn't quite around to be able to knock him up. You know what? I don't know. We're going to have to look later.
Yeah, I'm going to have to take a look at that because I thought you could actually like knock Rek'Sai out of his tunnels. I know you can knock people out of Magical Journey. That might be a little bit of a different interaction.
Yeah, I think tunnel.
Tweet at RustyLol, guys, if you have the answer.
Well, we'll answer the trivia later as Whoosh is, with the help of Baron up minions, going to be kicking down this bottom lane. Does have about quarter of the buff left, so RNG have still some time to make moves here on the map, but Whoosh by himself. Looper, as always, by himself there. There's a Ranger in the top lane. He's going to get that pushing. Again, it just feels like RNG this time. It was more of a, an equalizing Baron than a snowball Baron, but still getting some damage done. Even the red buff steal is always nice. So we'll go over to Whoosh.
Yeah, so Whoosh able to swoop in, grab that one for himself. It looks like they're very content to just try and keep Looper in one of the side lanes and split pushing by himself. That's the advantage they feel they have on the map right now. Xiao, who's assassination if they group up, and Looper's split pushing if it does go to the split push game. And otherwise just funnel farm onto the important carries. Yeah. Because this is one of those team comps that the later it goes, they don't really drop off. And because of how squishy Gosu and XQ are going to be the entirety of the game, they actually become more threatening as the game goes on.
Yeah, I mean, look, S17 is not particularly tanky either. It's difficult to kill, as we've seen.
Oh, Gosu,
oh, huge play, and that's going to be a blow up there from Xiao. Now Looper swooping in for a tower dive, but actually backs away from it as Shu does come in to defend, but once again, Mata setting it all up.
Flash headbutt pole. Not really much counterplay to that if you don't have your flash available, which you didn't. They will grab a second turret off that. Now Whoosh working on the bottom one. So, you know, we said it was a little bit slower, but it's the exact same result pastry time. RNG starting to bust open this map.
Yep, 6,500 gold ahead after it being quite an even one. Xiao, who dodges in. Wave clear is here for Lysandra. So HYG are able to protect that tier 2. Looper already back in the top lane. Surprise, surprise. 6, 2, and 5. Looking good here on the Quinn once more as Hyper Youth Gaming. Baron buff has worn off, but haven't quite weathered the storm just yet. That may have been the first hit here in RNG. Built themselves a big gold lead in the mid game.
There you go. It was a Merc Scimitar picked up for Looper. He's very conscious as Mata can't move.
Yep, he's hanging out in the pillar. Pulverize headbutt. Trying to get to safety if it doesn't have his ulti. Oh, he does, but that's too late. He's going to go down there. The joys of Trundle Pillar. As Looper's busy taking the base. Yeah,
Trundle Pillar, Anivia Wall. Anything that creates terrain can kind of do that to you. They need to be careful here.
Good ulti. MLXG though, caught out of position. Does need to exhaust as the pillar is going to move him back. Xiaohu looking for an assassination, but gets unburrowed there. Good Zonya's going to buy Looper a little bit more time, but he has to actually flash out of the way as Whoosh straight in over the top for it. 1-6Q. Good flash, but it's not enough as Gosu can't quite lock down the Triss. Now MLXG happy to turn on the offensive as Looper has swooped his way from top lane. There's 17 can join with the teleport. Nice counterplay there from Royal.
So Royal able to very much punish what was a continued chase there. Mata fell down. You could see that straight away Hyper Youth Gaming were like, mid lane, we need to get something off this. Instead committed to the team fight with that Zonya's. Xiaohu able to bait multiple members and Whoosh flies in there one more time like a madman.
Classic Whoosh. Getting a bit more aggressive on that Tristana as I'm having a look down at MLXG's item build. It's actually gone for quite an early amount of damage. I believe that is a relatively early Lord Dominic's regards.
Yeah, it certainly is there.
With kind of only one tank on the team.
Yeah, it's a weird item pickup. Look, I'm not going to say I agree with it, but the tank does have the makings of what will be a Thornmail Ninja Tabbies as well as a Randuin's Omen. So if he wants to be able to burst March out, he does need to have some armor penetration.
Certainly does. Nice and efficient though as well, so not too bad here for the jungler. Xiaohu going to clear himself out the blue. Actually, excuse me. Oh, never mind.
Oh.
Loop is coming in. S17, trouble again. Damage is there. Oh, he follows from the dash. Very well played in the heal. Will it be enough there? The auto's there. Looper flashes in. Good Zonya's, but I don't know if the rest of his team's here. He's going to get the blinding assault kill. But Looper now has to keep cutting around. Pops the scimitar. That's not enough. XQ picks that one up.
Yeah, so in the end, Looper trades his life 1-for-1 with the enemy top laner. With how far ahead he is, you have to say that's probably in favor of Hyper Youth Gaming. And RNG can't really break this base. Maybe you'll need to look towards another Baron play, as that's coming up in 28 seconds.
Yep, I can see Xiaohu actually continuing the split push here, but looks to maybe back away. Seems like a lot of side lane pressure seems to be the name of Royal's game today here. So they are looking around that Baron area as well. If it's not Looper, it's going to be someone else. It's Xiaohu. He's now going to get blocked by Shu. The Rek'Sai does roll into the bottom lane.
Yeah, Shu, not allowed to farm, mate. You're a support. Rek'Sai comes in with the ultimate for one creep. Reminds Shu of his place in the lineup.
Well, March now. Oh, no more CS. Just going to leave it for the mid laner, of course. Although now Trundle's actually swooping in for a couple of extra sneaky minions.
And you know, Shu's kind of flown under the radar this game, but 119, he's going towards what looks like a Randuin's Omen or a Frozen Heart. He's a very tanky Trundle.
Yeah, looking good so far. I mean, we talked about the sort of lack of tanks on both sides here, but HYG trying to put a few together here. One of them from the support position. Could take a while, but the game does go late. Might just have enough here to push through the damage threats, although could get outpaced on that front as well. So a delicate balance here in this game as RNG's comp is very tricky to pull off here. And they've really just been trying to pull HYG around the map. Maybe that's what they've identified. Is that, you know what, we don't think these guys can compete with us on a macro level. And HYG say, you know what, we probably can't. Let's fight you. And they've been trying to do just that for the last few minutes, it feels like. Well, they fight in. XQ just eats another 2 bits of damage. Almost goes down to the ulti out from Graves. Teleport in from S17. Needs to come in to defend the team. Looper, once again, around the start. Huge pulverize there from Mata as Looper will go down to the end, but Shu getting low as S17 pops himself into stasis. Kill on the back end there as MLXG's trying to kite around March. Will get locked up there as the Zonies might keep him alive. Never mind, Lissandra goes down, and Looper this time gets it right.
Yeah, and that was a very close thing. You know, he dove into the back line, got exhausted, and lived on absolutely no health. Hysteric's coming up massive, but that will be another clean ace. A 31-minute-ish game this time around for RNG, but they will take the 2-0.
Might be able to end it here. 20 seconds left on this death timers and plenty of turret damage here from Whoosh. They're going to start things off here. Nexus turret looking to go down. It gets melted, in fact, as Whoosh just has far too much damage, and this does look to be the end. Royal took a little longer, like you mentioned, but another swift game for them, bringing the average game time all the way down, and another convincing 2-0 victory.
Yeah, and this time it was a little bit, I guess, shakier through the mid game, but some good later game execution means that they finally get it right.